Welcome to the Business of Show Business with me, Jamie Boddy. I'm joined by industry experts and up-and-coming creatives as we unpack the skills, stories, and side hustles behind the entertainment and creative industries. So if you are ready to thrive and not just survive in showbiz and the arts and culture sector, you're in the right place. Today, I am joined by dancer, choreographer, adjudicator, and podcaster Courtney Ortiz. We discuss destinations that dance can take you, dance plagiarism, dance competitions, and finding inspiration as we talk the business of show business. Courtney, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good. So we met, honestly, this must have been like 2009, maybe at Royal Caribbean or Royal Caribbean for you. So long ago.
So long ago. Feels like a lifetime ago. I mean,
and then
that's
I think
insane.
Yeah, and then fast forward, I think last time I saw you in New York was like 2014, and our lives have just gone crazy since then. So thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Of course. And I told you my cat was going to make an appearance, so he is here on the podcast with us.
Oh, it's so fluffy. What's the
He's
cat's
so
name?
fluffy. His name is Chico, and he's a little Persian cat. I
Hey,
have
Chico.
two of them. Yeah, but he loves the camera. He loves to be here. So, yes, it's been a journey since then. Like I don't know about you, but that was like my very first professional job. Like,
Yeah, I think
Royal
that was
Caribbean.
my second job.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh.
and now look at us taking over the world.
Oh my, we're podcasters, we're taking over the dance world and like enjoying each other's company and time from all the way across the pond.
Oh yes, I
It's
should say it. Yeah, Courtney's actually in New York. I should say that actually. We're international this
yeah.
season.
Yeah,
And
we're international over here on the pod. It's so fun.
we've made it. We can retire now. Done.
Yes.
So if we fast forward to nowadays, Courtney, and the fact you wear so many hats, as many freelance performers do, and you
Right.
A, through want to, because we have many skills, but B, sometimes through necessity, how do you balance your life as a creative now? So you are a choreographer, you're a teacher, so you've taught at Broadway Dance Centre, you teach at Steps, you've also you've also taught internationally. You were in London recently, and I was gutted I couldn't catch up with you. But
Yeah.
alongside that, you adjudicate your podcast. How do you balance your lifestyle right now?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I I honestly am struggling with that to be completely honest. This year in particular has been a really tough one because I joined a dance convention, a newer dance convention last season. I've always taught on the dance convention circuit, which are there dance conventions in the
Yeah,
UK?
like competitions and conventions are like, I feel the last kind of post-pandemic actually, they've really started to
Oh.
pop everywhere. So they're kind of new, but they are slowly popping up everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like competitions over here, like I grew up as a competition dancer, so I've been in that world for forever and then I started breaking into like being behind the judges table for competitions and then dance conventions exploded over here in the United States and I was lucky enough to be asked to be an educator on faculty with the dance convention, but now we've grown to like a 20 city tour that
Wow.
starts in January, ends in May, and I'm out every single weekend, fly Thursday, teach Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fly home Sunday night, and then do it over again the next week for that
Gosh.
5, 6 month period. So that is really tough. The turnover, it's practically like I'm on tour, but I get to sleep in my bed for 3 nights out of the 7 days a week. And like, and I, granted, I mean, I look at it like that and I'm like, I love being on tour. So I'm grateful I get to travel and see
Yeah.
new places, but also get to come home to my partner and to my cats and to my bed and to my city. So it's the best of both worlds, but it's also really hard. And then in between that, I'm running a business, I'm doing a podcast, pop
Yeah.
in and teach at Steps when I can. And I think like the cool thing about freelance life is that you kind of get to pick your own schedule. And I have said no to so many things this year, and I am not that type of person, especially I'm sure you felt this like post-pandemic. You like we didn't
Yes.
know what the world entailed when it came to entertainment and dance and anything. So I was just saying yes, 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 yes to like make up for
Hmm.
lost time. And now we're back in action. It's like my career is launching in a beautiful way, but it's to a point where I actually don't have enough time in my life and schedule to be able to give it to everybody. So I have said no to a lot of things, and that it like breaks my heart because I want to be able to say yes to everything. But at the same time, you get to a point in your career where you have to know like, okay, what's worth it for me? So
Yeah.
like, is it worth it for me to travel? Is the pay worth it? Is the time commitment worth it? And when you're younger and starting out, you're kind of just eager for anything. So it's like a good and a bad, but it's
Yeah.
hard to juggle for sure.
And I think there's weirdly like a power that comes from saying no, isn't it? As much as we want to perform and help, I'm the same. I thought up until last end of last year, I got a lot better at saying no. And this year I've kind of slipped back a bit to potentially overloading myself. But
Yeah.
sometimes you need to go that far to then come back and be like, actually, no. Because sometimes by saying yes to so much, you're saying no to your health, no to seeing your family and your loved ones. So I think it's
Right.
great that you're in that position now when you're like, okay, I've got the power of no and you're taking control.
Yeah, yeah. It feels good, but it is also it's tough to make those decisions, and I'm just looking at my calendar, and I know in the past, like especially right now we're in the summer, and like this is prime time teaching for a lot of everyone's out of school. There's a lot of intensives and workshops and master classes and all of these things. And I would just boom, 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 just back to back, fly here and teach there. And this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna enjoy my summer a little bit, and because I've been on the road
Yeah.
so much from January to May. So it is nice to have some downtime, but busy as ever. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good and bad.
How has it been shifting? So some of this, a sprinkle of your credits, you've like done the national tour Finding Neverland, you were in the Heights, the Radio City Christmas show with the Rockettes. Like you've been a busy dancer. Like, so how was it shifting maybe your focus
Mm,
from on stage to the education and
mm,
the adjudicating and competitions? Because that in itself can be quite a crunch point for a lot of dancers when they're like, hey, other work's presenting itself now. I love that.
mm,
But having that, like, okay, let's put a pin in the stage performance. So how was it shifting over
mm.
to what you're doing now?
That's a great question. I like currently, I still feel like I miss performing, and if the right person called me, I would absolutely do it. I'm still physically able to perform. It's just kind of like what you mentioned. Sometimes there's different opportunities that are guiding you that might not have been like what I expected. I mean, of course, I think everyone that moves to New York City as a musical
Yeah.
theater dancer wants to be on Broadway. And that was always my dream. I wanted to make it onto the Broadway. I've done national tours, I've done regional productions, I've done like really great shows that I'm so proud of. But I never like made it onto the Broadway, which it's
Yeah.
like, that just like lingers in the back of your mind the rest of your life. You feel like you never made it. But I look back at like all of my performance credits, and I learned so much from all of them, and I'm so grateful for all of them. It's a different world post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And pre-pandemic, I was in my early 30s, and I was kind of being more selective, and for a reason, because I still also was teaching and judging and adjudicating on the side. That was always my side hustle. And that wasn't always my main focus. I was still pursuing a performance career, which as you know, like you have to like be fully invested into that. I mean, you are in classes, you are taking voice classes, you are going to every audition under the sun. Like that is your priority. And I was kind of not phasing out, but just being a little bit more, oh, this isn't worth it for me. I'm going to go to this audition, and this is what my goal is right here. But then the pandemic hit, and I almost kind of looked like it was maybe it was my time to start like phasing into teaching and educating more. And to be honest, that's what came back before performances did after the pandemic. So I think I just ran with it. I mean, people were coming to me who were performers on Broadway
Yeah.
asking me for work because I was so heavily connected in the competitive world and the dance education spaces and judging that they were struggling because they didn't have those connections. But I kind of always been doing it all at the same time. So I felt very lucky and fortunate. And then just more things kept falling into my lap in the teaching avenue. And to be honest, like, sometimes we go where the money is, and there is some great money in teaching dance, especially in the United States. If you get to a certain level, where you're kind of being sought out and requested and a guest educator, which is kind of what I do. I kind of freelance and travel wherever
Yeah.
people ask me to go. So it feels like my Broadway contract in a way. And then I feel like now with the video aspect of so much in classes, I almost feel like I'm performing.
Yeah,
Like,
you're on,
I,
aren't you, all the time now?
yes. And it's a good and bad, and that's a whole nother conversation because like I don't know how heavy that is in the UK now with like filming in classes, but it's just taken over New York City. It was always happening in Los Angeles because of the commercial scene there, but like now it's taken over New York where people don't show up to class unless there's a camera in the room, but then you have to like be stage ready and put an outfit on and put your lips on and your makeup and you better be perfect for the camera. So in a way it kind of feels like I'm performing for the camera where I get to connect with people via social media. And yeah, I'm not on a stage and I get to like perform when I teach on stage at convention. So it's like a different way of performing in a way. But I do miss being on the stage. And like I said, if the right person calls, I'll be there.
If Broadway calls, she is ready. She will.
I'm ready.
Park the air miles for now. And there's 2 points I want to quickly touch from that. The first is social media and dance. Yes, over here it has blown up. Very similar in the fact of, I'd say most of the main dance studios here, they're either have an in-house videographer or people are filming the classes. Good and bad, because again, everyone's getting content, you're building your show reel. Bad sometimes when you're maybe trying a new style or you've upped your level in the class, you've gone to a more advanced class and you're like, there's that fear of failure, which kind of can be quite overwhelming. So I guess first of all, social media within dance. What are your thoughts? And especially maybe with the competition circuit over there, it'd be really interesting to kind of get your thoughts on that now and how maybe dancers position themselves online.
Yeah, I mean, obviously TikTok is huge. It's what got us through the pandemic. Everyone was doing a TikTok dance. I'm still barely over there on TikTok. I never gave into it. But as we can see, dance is such a big part of everyone's entertainment and life, even non-dancers. So I thought that it was really interesting to see how TikTok made dance popular even more than it already was, and gave a platform for actual dancers to like showcase their talents with this viral dance that's everyone's doing, but now a dancer is going to put their spin on it and it's going to be even more impressive. But at the same time, like social media and dance, good and bad, because I miss the days a little bit in New York City where it was just like word of mouth. You walked past a class while you're walking through steps on Broadway or Broadway Dance Center and were intrigued by what you were seeing. Or, oh, I take this person's class every week and you need to get into it and you're going to love it. That's how it used to be back in the day before videos were the advertisement for classes. And now it's to a point where, like, if you don't, as a teacher, if you don't have video footage of your class, people aren't going to come because they want to know what they're walking into before they even sign up for it. And in a way, okay, cool, that's great. But at the same time, do we always need a camera filming us? Because class is supposed to be to learn and grow and be a safe place and not be perfect yet and be like not be afraid to fail. So I think, like you said, there is that pressure of being perfect right away now that a camera's there. And I've talked to a lot of people who are like, I don't go to class if it says it's being filmed. And I mean, there was a whole big thing after the pandemic where they weren't even telling dancers if there was going to be a camera that would show up, which was a whole issue in itself. So like now they actually say this class will be filmed or not. Right. Consent is important to make sure, because some people would have been like, I'd rather have put my money somewhere else and not taken a class that had a camera in my face. It's just a different way of taking class. And even for the next generation of dancers that are up and coming, like this is all they know. Like they only know that there's a camera in the classroom. In studio classes, at professional studios, at dance conventions, like a camera is everywhere. And these kids are getting really good at picking up choreography fast and knowing how to perform and make eye contact to the camera. And that is something that I still struggle with. And I like freeze under pressure when that camera comes. If I'm doing anyone's choreography but my own, I cannot handle the pressure. But these kids, like they're pros at it. They're professionals already.
Yeah, like this, it is kind of that balancing act, isn't it? Because it is proof of concept. It's look how good I am in class, or as a choreographer, it is your immediate portfolio that potentially the 50 kids in your class are going to share. So it's introducing you to a new audience. But I think it is that balancing act, isn't it, of like guarding your your expectations of yourself and your mental health online, definitely. And the other point I kind of wanted to jump on, which you've touched on, is because of the competition scene and convention scene, how does that now kind of fit into a lot of professional dancers' lives? Because I know with the platform that you've created, which Making the Impact, you kind of help connect performers with adjudicating opportunities and things like that. So how does that kind of slot now into the world, with it being such a big part of the dance sector?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. It's the competition space over here in the United States has been around for 40, 50 years at this point, possibly. Very small one. Now there's like 200, probably 300, let's be real, little dance competition companies that are just everywhere. There's
Yeah.
an event every weekend. It's out of control. Personally, I think it's way too oversaturated, and
Yeah.
everyone can do it now, which is great. But like, where's the competitive aspect? Like, everyone feels like a winner. That's a whole other issue. But as far as like for professionals, I think that a lot of these performers grew up in that world at this point, especially like this generation
Yeah.
of performer has probably dabbled in some type of competition convention space when they were younger in their dance training, and now they're looking for like a supplemental job to get them through audition season that they can just ship out on the weekends, judge some dancers, give back to the next generation, make some great money, and then live off of that on the
Yeah.
weekdays, and not have a survival job where they're waiting tables so they can go to the audition. So like, I think it's good there. And then I think it is nice. That's always how I've approached it, because I never really went the survival job route, but I was always like, I obviously need a job, but how do I keep it in the dance world? And it was nice to be able to like go out and be inspired by these talented dancers each weekend and work your booty off and be dead to the world on Monday because you don't get a day off. You're
Yeah.
hoping there's no audition at 10 a.m. on Monday morning because you have the competition hangover, but then you don't really need to like worry about work the rest of the week, and your week is open for those unexpected
Yeah.
callbacks and things like that. So I think it is nice that we're like creating opportunities for professionals to stay involved in the workspace of dance world even after their time as a competitive dancer or convention dancer.
Mm.
And I think that also gives the younger dancers something to look at, like, oh, this person is a professional and now they're sitting on the other side of the table. I could do that, and it
Yeah.
gives them some hope as well.
And I like from what you've said and what I've been reading is that you're not gatekeeping anything. You're actually getting work for performers, which again,
Hmm.
sometimes people, when they think of theatre, it's kind of, I'm not telling anyone about the audition. It's not always like that, but that's kind of like the caricature or heightened version we hear. And then B, you're also then kind of doing like a quality assurance, because you are
Hmm.
assessing the dancers that are coming through and the performers, and then putting them in places of like trust, because it's safeguarding, you're with kids. So it's so good that you're kind of adding that
Right.
quality assurance, because not everyone is a good teacher.
Yeah. They're not. And
Yeah.
not everyone's a good dance competition judge either. Like,
Hmm.
even if you're a really great teacher, you might not know how to articulate properly through, because it's like a video critique.
Yeah.
So they just hear your voice, they don't see your face, and you have to make sure your tone is friendly and upbeat and positive, and we're not completely like deflating these dancers when we're giving constructive criticism. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to do that. I think
Yeah.
that the professional dancers in general know how to do that because we've received a lot of criticism as pros, and we've received a lot of rejection. And we know what it feels like versus people who maybe only have heard fluff their whole life and,
Yeah.
have never heard no, or have never almost booked the Broadway job and you didn't get it because you're too tall, or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be,
Yeah.
like, it's just a different mentality for professional dancers. Although sometimes professional dancers have a higher expectation from the kids because they're in the pro world, versus a lot of competitions now are wanting to hire more like studio educators because they're working with those dancers on the regular every single day, and they just understand what it takes to get that dancer to that
Yeah.
point on stage.
And I think first of all, I love that you said the competition hangover, because I host a competition over here, and it is so that Monday you are wiped out, and
Yep.
everyone's like, but aren't you just having fun? I'm like, yeah, you're having fun, but you're just giving energy. So yes, I love that.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring that over here. And then second of all, I think It's exactly what you said. Sometimes when we get judges, it's like not everyone does dance as an occupation. They just do it for like a fun and a hobby. So it's understanding when critique will benefit someone and when
Hmm.
maybe it could be more detrimental. But that comes with experience, doesn't it?
Right.
Just because you can do doesn't mean you teach. Um,
Right.
but competitions over there, they seem wild compared to here. Like,
Really?
because it was definitely in one of your episodes, or you and your co-host were talking on social about what's the word I'm looking at? Penalties or penalising people on scores and stuff
Ah.
if they've maybe inappropriate costumes and things like that. Well, like that is creeping in a bit here, but
Mm.
not to the point of like knocking points off. And sometimes I think that should be the case because you see routines and you're like, this is not age appropriate for a 12-year-old to be doing
No.
that on stage. And in the audience, they're like, go on, love. And I'm like, no, this is not okay.
Yeah.
So talk us through a bit maybe about that. So are a lot of competitions over there? Is it more, yeah, just tell us what is that structure with the point system and like what can you maybe be penalized on? Because then I can start bringing that in over here and be like, guys, in America, you would lose 5
Yeah. 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 I mean, honestly, it's gotten to a point where we are not able to penalize any aspect of a dance that's presented at us that was at fault to the teacher. And I think that that's bizarre because it is a collaborative effort to get dancers onto that stage. There's a studio, there's a parent, there is a choreographer, and then there's the dancer. Like there's multiple adults that have helped get this dancer there. So they should also be open to criticism. They should be open to deductions. But they don't want to ruffle feathers with any of their customers. So I think that for a while there were judges that were, if we had a choreography score on our breakdown of scoring criterias, we're going to talk about the choreography. We're going to say this is
Yeah.
inappropriate. We're going to say, hey, that move is unsafe. They're not ready for that. Like
Yes.
those are things that we should be allowed to say and deduct for because yes, I'm sorry, that's not the dancer's fault. They're just doing what they're told,
Yeah.
but someone told them to do that and from a professional opinion, I don't think that's the best choice. So there should be a deduction for that. But we we don't really do that at this time. So as much as you want to bring it over there, I want to bring it over here because it doesn't exist. And I'm definitely like we talk about it a lot on our podcast
Yeah.
and I try to advocate for it a lot. I think there has been a little bit of change where there have been an added like teacher only critique, which I think is really
Okay.
awesome. Yeah, where they're
Yeah.
only talking straight to the teacher and they can talk about those things of appropriateness and costuming and movement styles and safety or whatever the case may be, because the dancer doesn't need to really hear that. Again, they're just doing what they're told. But maybe if the teacher hears it in a nice, constructive way, maybe it'll be the light bulb for the teacher. Oh, that's why my dancer's not scoring how they should,
Oh,
because this
yeah.
choreography just doesn't flatter them, or I put too many tricks in here, or they're doing things beyond their ability level at this time. And it's a learning experience for the teachers as well.
Yeah, no, and I think we quite often we see a routine and it's either beyond their skill set or they've entered multiple dances throughout the competition, so their
Mm-hmm.
energy's getting lower and those moves
Mm-hmm.
become more like they increasingly like their safety kind of goes out the window or they execute them
Yeah.
more poorly. But as you said, they might not be understanding, oh, that's a quite an advanced move. Why are they not placing? You're like, well, actually, this
Right.
is why you're not thinking of the dancer. And I don't know if your competitions do them over there, but we do challenges then when it's kind of set by one of the judges, so they learn choreo
Mm.
on the day, and
Oh,
sometimes those dancers who haven't placed absolutely smash that. They do it so good because the
yes.
teachers put in there what they think we want to see. We
Mm-hmm.
want to see this, so they put them in there, and I think actually that doesn't work on your dancer, and they do this guest piece of choreography, and they win, and we see that
Yep.
quite often now.
I love that. And I think that it gives everybody an even playing field and it shows other attributes of a dancer that is important, especially if you do decide to go into a professional world, because the people that win first place just have a very well rehearsed, polished routine
Yes.
that might be choreographed perfectly for them. But are you able to pick up choreography fast? Are you able to
Mhm.
adapt to a different style? Are you able to remember what comes next in a high stakes, high pressure situation like an audition.
Yeah.
And a lot of those dancers that you see, like you said, first place overall, whoever it is, can't hang in those scenarios because I think that they're truly just a well rehearsed dancer. And that there's good and bad with that, but like I always think, especially like translating that into pro world, you have to get through the audition first. Like
Yeah.
you might be able to rehearse once you get the job, and by the time you hit the stage, you're ready to go. But like, did you even get the job because you couldn't pick up choreography fast? You weren't paying attention to the details. You were 2 counts behind the whole time, and you're probably getting cut. So I think that is a more important skill than how clean and well rehearsed you are, because it's going to translate easier into the professional world.
100%. And then speaking of those like transferable skills and like those skills, almost the soft skills and the fact of how you show up, punctuality, your manner, empathy, all of that. You now obviously quite a high performing business lady because you've got your podcast, you are educating, you're touring, you've got your website where you're setting up adjudicator. So what kind of business skills are you using now that you think actually, hey, I either used it as a dancer and didn't realize, or B, I should have used this more when I was like hustling? Because I think quite often a lot of dancers don't realize like, I am a business. I need to like understand my cash flow. I need to know how to network. So what are some of those business skills you're using now that young dancers should use?
I mean, obviously, now we talked about it. Social media is a huge business. It is part of the business, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. The people come up to me all the time. I want to break into teaching. I want to do this, and then I immediately ask, "Well, what's your social media look like?" I don't need you to have a trillion million followers. That's not what it's about. It just needs to be consistent. It needs to be curated. It needs to be professionally filmed and thought about. It can't be this grainy video from all the way in the back of the house and you can't see. You have to also be consistent with your posting to stay relevant, and you want to be the person that people think about. Like I hope that people think about me and they're like, oh, what about that dancer in New York City, that choreographer that does jazz dance in New York City? Oh yeah, let's bring her in. Like that's what you want. And the only way that you can utilize that is continuing to kind of be in people's faces on social media, unfortunately. And I'm at a point now where I post like once a week, but I always try to make sure that what I post is exciting content and something educational or showing off in class or where I just was and what gig I was in or whatever. But like, I'm not really posting a lot of stuff that is personal life stuff, maybe on my story, but I have completely curated my Instagram to be strictly for my business and my brand. And that is something that I didn't really have to do when we first started because social media didn't start back in 2009. You know, we didn't have, I mean, we had like MySpace and Facebook, but that was
exactly.
It.
Yeah, good old Tom, what happened to him?
I know.
And you obviously have kind of seen the dark side of that, though, the fact of your work has now unfortunately been plagiarized amongst many other dancers in studios without your consent or like being acknowledged. Can you quickly talk about that before I hit you with our quick lightning round questions before I let you go?
Yes, it is good and bad. So like, yes, the business side of your career does possibly need to live on social media. And I never thought that it would like come around and bite me in the booty because I'm posting my stuff, hoping that it inspires people, hoping that it brings me more work, hoping that, maybe it is like a nice little fresh spin of a different style that you want to be inspired by and watch and enjoy, but not steal. And, I think that's the hard part of social media now is that it's at our fingertips and people, and it's free. So people think that, oh, well, if you chose to post it, then now it's the world's. And it's like, actually, no, like this is still my choreography, my creation. I've trained my whole life to get to this point. I've networked my whole life to even get to a point where now you're watching my video. So you need to respect the fact that like it took me time to create this and I'm choosing to share this with you for enjoyment, but I'm not choosing to share this with you for you to steal and use for profit. And that's exactly what happened to me. And like you mentioned, once I exposed this individual online, I did a side-by-side video. I used social media to its benefit and this thing went absolutely viral. I never thought it would go viral like that. Overnight, it was viral. Everyone's talking about it. And I think it started a lot of really good conversations about like a lot of non-dancers just didn't understand that choreography can be plagiarized, just like writing, just like
Yeah.
music. So we've started a lot of conversations around dance and plagiarism, which I think is necessary at this time because
Yeah.
there's really not enough protection. And it was just a an unfortunate situation that I'm glad that I wasn't afraid to speak out and post about it because it opened up the web to see how many other people this individual was stealing from and profiting
Yeah.
off of for multiple years, like since the pandemic. So there's probably so many more people that are doing this exact same thing and then they just haven't gotten caught. And I know that they will, but it's a huge issue in our industry. And it's just shocking to me that people think that if you've grown up in this dance world and this industry, we always credit you. You remember where you learned that from and who this
Yeah.
was passed down. We're not taking something and claiming it as our own. That's like plagiarism 101. So
Yeah.
it's just shocking to me. And I don't think it was a cultural thing either because this was international. Like this is across the board, like an
Yeah.
ethics thing in the entire world. Everyone knows that stealing is wrong, but here we are. People still do it, and it
Yeah.
happened to me, and it's wild. I'm almost at like the 1 year mark of this discovery, and it's completely changed my life.
And I think what was interesting is, as you said, the outpouring, and maybe people had noticed their work being copied, but no one wanted to be the first to say. Because again, we're in an industry when it's like we don't want to seem like we're too bolshy or too bold, and we won't get
Hmm.
work. So I think it was so good that you did. And also, I love that it's like a Netflix documentary when you would have sat at home and you were like, not on my watch, and then you just start going on social media and like
You
this is
know,
not okay.
for me, like I didn't have anything to lose. I didn't know that there were other people involved, like other choreographers involved. A lot of people know me. I'm outspoken about things I'm passionate about. I want to create change in our industry that we need. So when this happened to me, I was like, what do I have to lose? Like
Hmm.
I know I'm in the right here. I am not wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just gonna call this person out and
Yeah.
hope that people see it. And everyone saw it. And so it felt I feel like that if this happened to maybe another choreographer, maybe a bigger choreographer, I don't
Yeah.
think they would have just swept it under the rug and wouldn't have cared. But I was like, I don't have anything to lose. I'm just this little dancer girl in New York City that's just trying to make it. And here we are.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
How do you personally stay incentivized or inspired to kind of keep going and kind of spotting these opportunities? Because I think a lot of freelance dancers, actors, they get burnt out, rejection. So how
Mhm.
do you kind of keep yourself incentivized to keep going?
I mean, I feel like the pandemic, we've talked about that a lot on this one, but I feel like that was really eye-opening because sometimes we take our career and our opportunities for granted, and that just got completely ripped away from us so quickly. And I saw like a true, like a real side to so many people who are like, oh, well, dance doesn't matter, and oh, we don't need this and we don't need that. And that's not a real thing. I mean, that's always been a stigma of our entire careers that people just don't think this is a legitimate job. But I feel so lucky for all of the things that I've had been fortunate enough to do
Yeah.
in my career and been offered to do in my career, performing, teaching, adjudicating, all the things we've talked about, that I think that that kind of fuels me to keep going in different ways because this feels like a new side of a career that I always dabbled in, but now I can see where that leads me. I mean, like you mentioned, I had the chance to go international. I was invited to teach at a jazz dance festival in Brazil last year. And like, I think that that was really a highlight for me. And even post pandemic, it was always a goal for me to teach at Broadway Dance Center and Steps on Broadway. I think that like every dance teacher who's making it New York City wants to teach at the prestigious world class studios. And that opportunity finally came. And that opened up a ton of doors for me. And that's where my international reach started happening. And
Hmm.
um, so I'm really grateful for that, and I'm just kind of riding the wave to see what's next. And like I said, it's truly shocking that I've worked a lot to get my name out there and market myself. And I look back and I'm like, how did I do this? Like I feel so lucky that people are on board with the Courtney Ortiz dance classes. Like I'm just shocked sometimes because I always tell dancers, I'm like, I'm just teaching jazz dance. Like I'm just teaching truly what you've been doing your whole life and making it fun and adding my personal spin on it. And that's
Yeah.
what a lot of teachers do. But it's crazy to me that there are people now coming seeking me out and offering me opportunities that I'm not even applying for. And that feels really, really good. And I think that's what keeps me going because I'll try to fill my schedule and then something else will pop up that it's just like this
Yeah.
opportunity I can't say no to. I'm like, okay, I got to do this, you know? So I think that's what's always been exciting about the freelance life of a working artist and dancer is that you never know who's going to call. You never know what's to come versus going to that 9 to 5 every single day. You know exactly what you're signing up for and it gets monotonous and boring. And I love the excitement of this lifestyle.
Yeah. So, in a snapshot, in a day to day, you mentioned marketing yourself, and that's again, I think one thing that performers don't realize that they don't even realize they're doing it sometimes. When they send that email, I'm like, guys, you're
Mm,
pitching yourself. This is email marketing. Like,
yes.
you've got to like articulate concisely who you are and what you have to offer, but in a short
Mm.
space. Whereas dancers were like, look how good I am. But often when you sell yourself, it's like emails on the
Oof.
phone, social media. So in a
Yes.
snapshot, what are some of your avenues or your outlets? You've got your podcast, which takes a lot of time planning, getting guests,
Hmm.
editing, social media. You've got the website. So tell us a bit maybe about some of your strands that gets your brand out there, just so young dancers are like, oh, that's how much I need to show up authentically.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, always having branding assets ready and available whenever someone asks. So, whether that's in a website that's already curated and it's frequently updated, to be completely honest, I had a website like years ago and I just got rid of it. I want to make a new one, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
I think everyone should have one. My Instagram has been my website for me personally lately, and that's what I use. So as long as that is looking good, I think that can be a great way because now you can add your where you're located, you can add your email to it, you can add your contact. It's pretty much like a lot of people say it's your professional business card at this point. Agents say the very first thing they're going to is your Instagram before they even look at your resume, you know? So keeping all your brand assets up to date, and it is important to know how to respond to an email properly and professionally. It needs to look good. I mean, get yourself like a nice email footer signature. Make sure that I love the ones that have a headshot with the name because it just puts a name to a face and kind of shows your personality a little bit instead of just being like this mystery person behind a screen.
Yeah.
And having like your social links right there. So if people want to learn more about you, click on it and then they're already following you on Instagram. I created a broadcast channel on Instagram as well to now like always inform my students when I'm teaching next because it's always different
Yeah.
times. So I think and just being professional, like responding to things, that is something that I needed to be better at. I've literally almost thought this year because I wear so many hats. I might need to get like an administrative assistant to just because sometimes I'm putting my focus on my judging service and my podcast, and then the Courtney Ortiz teacher side of my business, which is another whole business in itself, is getting. I'm slacking on that and not responding as promptly as I would like to. Or now, a lot of days, people send you DMs on Instagram or Facebook to want to book you on things. And that just gets lost in the mix for me because if someone likes your story, that sends you a message. But then if it's a job offer, I want to see the job offer. And then it just gets lost in there. And then I forget about it. So, there's a lot of different things that you have to manage on all different platforms. It's overwhelming. Like at a point, you might need to get like an administrative assistant to just like respond to emails. But you can also like create email templates, which I use a lot. And let's be real, ChatGPT, everyone's using it as much as we don't want to utilize AI. I do think that there are ways that we can like help
Yeah.
streamline things in our schedules with it.
Yeah, no, I everything there I love because again, it's things that I think people won't realize, or it's things that are also making your life easier and like, or frees up some of your capacity to do what you love to do, which is the teaching and the performing. So, yes,
Right.
that's how we do business. And we're going to end with a new thing I'm doing. I didn't used to do this on the audio only podcast, but I'm doing it now. And it's a quick fire question. It's called Lights, Questions, Action. And I'm just going to
Ooh,
ask you a couple of questions related to what you do. And you just got this hit me with what comes to mind, Courtney, okay?
okay.
You ready? Okay, so
Scared.
heels, jazz, or tap? Go to dance style.
Heels.
Most overused critique at a dance competition.
Point your toes.
It's going to be a long day at a convention or competition. What is your go-to drink and snack to get through?
Oh, iced coffee of some sort, cold brew, and a banana.
Good old potassium. A dream artist you would love to choreograph for.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love Lady Gaga, but I don't think I could compete with her choreographers, but I love her.
Well, if they are here, that could be the phone call that gets you back in it. Go. Biggest pet peeve you see in an audition room? You sit on the other side of the panel a lot. What's one of the biggest red flags or biggest peeve?
Oh, like, this sounds mean, but just like n bad audition outfits. I mean, that's so weird, but I, I'm shocked to see what people walk into the room in outfits that are just absolutely bizarre sometimes, that do not flatter them, that do not fit what they're auditioning for. So it's a first impression. You haven't even done anything yet.
No, very true, because it's always like that thing in the non-dance world of dress for the job you want. We're not saying come to audition for Cats, dress as a cat, but
Right.
you need to wear outfit that shows off your line, that you feel comfortable in. So yes. What makes you instantly say yes to a dancer on stage or at a comp? What is it that you're like, yes?
Oh, commanding presence, confidence.
Your favorite podcast episode that you have recorded?
Oh my gosh, that is hard because we have like 200 episodes. Ooh, I don't know.
Or maybe like a top three or some themes then that have come out.
Oh, I mean, we just did the over sexualization of children in dance. So hello, I think everyone needs to. We talked about that right here, right now. I think that was a really important one that we did. Um, I'd say I love whenever we talk about jazz dance because that's what I do. And final one. Oh, this isn't rapid fire, but maybe just something along the lines of like overused trends that we see on stage or in the dance world.
Yeah, you had one the other day about headstands or head flips, didn't you? And like,
Yes,
you didn't
yes.
see anymore. Craziest prop you have ever seen in a competition routine?
Ooh, oh gosh. I've seen like a boat that was built like onto stage and it like rocked back and forth and
No.
they like launched off of it. It was crazy. It was beautiful and but it took a long time for them to set up. I've even seen props that they couldn't even bring it on stage from the wing. They had to bring it on stage from the house because they were so big. It's getting a little crazy with the
No.
props. I mean, the power tools are out. It's wild over here.
Oh my gosh, because we've had some here, but not to that extent. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite city that dance has taken you to?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say Dubai.
Mm.
Actually, Dubai was cool. I can't believe I went there, never in a million years, but I literally went and then I was there when the pandemic was hitting, so that was kind of scary. But besides that,
We need to
the
get you
world's
booked.
shutting down and I'm
Yeah.
like across the world, but
Anyone in Dubai listening, book her to get her back out there. And then my last
yes.
quick fire question is, do you like to leave a podcast size voice note or just send a text?
Oh my God, podcast size voice note, and my podcast co-host knows this. All my friends know this. I send long, very long text message voice notes that are, I always say, I'm so sorry, please listen in 2 times speed.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for your time, Courtney. It's been so good to catch up. I wish we had longer, but
I
selfishly, it's been
know.
nice to catch up during this hidden inside this podcast.
I know. That's what's so cool about podcasts is that we get to like reconnect with people. And I can't believe that it's been so long since we've, danced together. And so hopefully we can change that sooner than later. If you come to New York, hit me up.
Yes, definitely. So all that's left to say is thank you for listening and watching and subscribe and leave a comment wherever you get your podcasts.